these things that we go through as entrepreneurs. I wish that, so all these people that, as this grows, and I'm not trying to monetize this podcast. I could care less. I don't want to make any money on it. I just want to help people say, hey, you think entrepreneurship's cool? You've got this dream. Like, hey, I want to help them understand proactively, like really what it is, how much you have to care, the stuff that you're going to end up doing, and all the whys behind it. And like what I said about this building was, I've spent the last year and a half of my life, 18 over 100 hours a week, man. I've done it for 13 years.
Right.
And I ran into a terrible plumbing problem here with Cast.
Yeah, okay, sorry. Yeah.
9 floors behind the walls, man. There's bathrooms back to back.
Yeah.
We inspected it, but obviously not good enough. And in commercial, there's no such thing as property disclosures. They just don't have to disclose.
Right.
And it ended up being that every single piece of plumbing in this building
Has to be redone. Yeah.
hundreds of thousands of dollars,
Yeah.
right? And I'm like, okay, lesson learned. I'm not mad at anybody else. I'm not mad they got it over on me a little bit, right? They knew. They
Right.
knew. They didn't share it with me.
Yep.
Had somewhat of a good relationship, and I still have a good relationship. Taking the high road, I'm like, guys, you
Yeah.
got me. I
Right.
told them that. But the only way that it's worth going through that is if I do it again.
Yeah.
Because it's not going to happen to me again. So what I shouldn't do is go buy a one-story strip center because I'll have to learn the lessons there, right?
Right.
Go buy storage. It's like, do this again. And that's the story of entrepreneurship, isn't it?
It is, and I think the other comment is how do you help another entrepreneur like you're doing here, so they learn that lesson. And people, my staff always wants to know. Like I meet with some of my competitors, and I share them some of the stuff they want to know what I'm doing. It's like, I'm very humble and I check my ego at the door, but it's like, you know what? It's a win-win with our client.
Yeah.
I tell our clients, once you sign that contract, we're married. We had a baby. It's too hard to get a divorce. We both got to be happy, or it's going to be fight. And my reputation, I don't want to get into a thing you're not happy and, it's going to go south for me. And I said, I want happy clients. I want people to like me. I want to provide you a service.
You want referral business. You want a growing business, right?
Right.
Yeah, you want this thing to serve others.
Yeah. So it's
So
it's
to
very
help
hard.
entrepreneurs, it's like, guys, don't start. I've just had these 2 principles. I don't know what your perspective is, but it's like, hey, just make a good plan initially.
Yep.
It's going to go to shit. Like some dumb crap's going to happen like you in the first. Like there's going to be everything that you think you have figured out, you're going to throw it in the trash because you're going to have to redo it.
Right.
But you have to have a mentality like make a good plan initially, but don't quit.
Don't quit. And I always say proactive versus reactive, but you're going to be reactive.
You are.
And an entrepreneur. And one of my staff members said it best to me, and I never thought of it. She's like, I really love the thing I love about you, and she left a really good, high-paying job to come and work for me, and she's like, I don't know what you're going to do, but yes, you're a rock star. I will figure it out. But she said it best to me. She's like, what I love about you, you're very optimistic, but you're very pessimistic. You're always looking at the worst case scenario, but you're willing to go take the chance. But you have plan A, plan B, and plan C, because more than likely it's going to work, but there's a 50% chance it's not going to work. How do we get ourselves out of this situation if it doesn't? And she's like, you look at every decision, like I see it processing, but you never tell the staff the negative that could happen out of it, but you tell internal management, if this happens, this is what we're going to do. If this happens, this is what we're going to do. So you're thinking about all these other things, hoping for the best. Mm-hmm. But you got to be a little reactive. You got to, like I said, you got to have thick skin. You got to have, be able to take a punch and get up and fight. Keep fighting and never give up the fight.
And I think I don't know so many people, and myself, be an entrepreneur, you just don't know what is going to come. You can plan, but you don't, and that's where the don't quit thing comes in. It's like, hey, how do you know when to quit? Like, how do you know?
Yeah, that's the problem. That's where the stubbornness comes from me. Like that's sometimes it gets you. And I tell my staff, I'll die trying. I'll be out there in the trenches with them, and they're like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "We're gonna make this happen."
Yeah.